So this is the Leonardo Dodici Mosaico, and I thought I would do a quick writing sample just because I haven't seen a ton of writing samples with the medium gold La Fenice #8 nib. Um, so this just came in today, really nice looking pen. Little bit more kind of subdued look than what you see in a lot of photos, and I think that's because this material is really reflective, and so a lot of the studio shots are with a bright light shining on it, whereas it's a lot more yeah, subdued in person, which I actually like. I think it's a really classy looking pen despite having a pretty busy colorful pattern on it. So this is the nib. It's pretty big. I'll compare it really quick to King of Pen Sailor nib. This is on a luminous shadow, so roughly the same size, but La Fenice is a little bit bigger. This also has a super wet feed here. If you touch this part, you get ink on your hands, which is fine. It's a pretty wet writer. So this is with Scribo Verde Bosco ink. So here we go. Unlike professional fountain pen YouTubers, I can't write and talk at the same time, but here you can kind of get a sense of what the writing looks like. A couple caveats here. So I found the Scribo ink to be reasonably dry, not problematically so, but it does write a fair bit drier than a lot of other inks I have. And here it's not dry at all. So I could imagine with a more free-flowing ink, you're going to get even more saturation here. Compare it with that Sailor really quick. This is inked up with a Bungu Box ink that is pretty middle of the road. I'll say this one happens to be a little bit wide for Sailor nib, but you can kind of tell by comparison here. And it has black plating on it, which can affect the width a little bit too. So I have heard, though I've never actually used a silver King of Pen nib, so I can't verify that. But they're pretty close when you look at it. I was kind of expecting, this was my first high-end gold European nib. I was kind of expecting this thing to be like a broad or even like a even bigger than the Sailor nibs that I'm used to. Not really finding that. So this nib is pretty soft too. You can get some decent line variation out of it. I don't want to hammer on it or anything because with almost no pressure, you get almost 100% saturation. So yeah, it's pretty great. It's a nice smooth writer, less feedback than the Sailor, but that's to be expected. So yeah, that's the Leonardo Dodici with a writing sample. Oh, really quick, as long as we're here, this is on Cosmo Air Light paper, which can also kind of exaggerate the line width. So this is just Itoya, I don't know how they brand this paper. It's the same paper that's in like Nakabayashi journals and stuff like that. So I'll do a little bit of a comparison here just because it is thinner. So So yeah, a little bit more sort of restrained, I'd say, but not appreciably different from a lot of the Japanese mediums that I've used. I mean, we could kind of, this is another Sailor King of Pen. This nib is substantially narrower than the green one that I was using before. This also has a Bungu Box purple ink in it, but So a little bit smaller, probably closer to what I would usually consider a Japanese medium. But, the Leonardo doesn't have any trouble staying within the grid lines or anything. It's not like dumping ink everywhere. It's not taking forever to dry or anything like that. So overall, I'm pretty excited to keep using it. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, I'm not a professional fountain pen YouTuber. I just wanted to show a little bit of how this new pen writes. So yeah,